Views and opinions expressed are respectfully held and are shared for information and reflective purposes only. They're not intended as a substitute for professional care, nor should they replace advice from your clinician, therapist, or health provider who understands the specific details of your personal situation. What I share reflects the most truthful viewpoint I can offer at the time of this recording. As the Holy Spirit continues to reveal deeper understanding, I reserve the freedom to revise, expand, or even contradict previous perspectives because growth is part of the journey.
Welcome to Well-Being with Ceejay Horrell. Candid conversations about life, health, and faith that encourage us to pursue our best selves. Here's Ceejay.
In today's contemporary culture, especially online and in conversations about dating, friendships, and work dynamics, the term red flags gets a lot of attention. We hear it everywhere, warnings about toxicity, manipulation, or patterns we should avoid. But here's the truth. Relationships aren't just romantic, and the signals we need to notice aren't always red. Every connection we have, whether with family, friends, co-workers, spiritual mentors, or community members, carries messages for our growth. Some of these messages are green lights, showing us it's safe to trust and invest. Some are yellow lights, nudging us to pause, reflect, or communicate before problems arise. And some are red lights, clear warnings that something is unsafe or damaging. So let's explore this full spectrum, green, yellow, and red, in a way that applies to all relationships. By recognizing these patterns, we can navigate our connections with clarity, wisdom, and peace, cultivating relationships that build us up instead of drain us. In today's episode, Discernment at Every Light, reading the red, yellow, and green flags in every relationship. Welcome back to Well-Being with Ceejay Horrell. I want to share a simple way to look at something that affects every one of us, relationships. I'm not just talking about romantic ones today, but all kinds of relationships, family, friendships, ministry, work, and even those casual, everyday connections that still shape how we show up in life. I like to think of relationships like traffic lights. They're green flags that tell us a relationship is safe and worth investing in. And then there are yellow flags that remind us to slow down and pay attention. And red flags that tell us it's time to stop, or at least to create some distance and protect our peace. So let's explore what those flags look like and how to develop the wisdom to recognize them early. Because discernment isn't about judging others. It's about learning to see clearly, to move wisely, and to protect the spaces where your soul can thrive. Every relationship is a classroom for character discernment and growth. And most healthy relationships have green lights, a few yellows, and no reds. Discernment is crucial because these warning signs signal potential harm, toxicity, or deep-rooted issues in relationships. Recognizing them early helps us to protect our emotional, physical, and mental well-being, prevents problems from escalating, and empowers us to make informed decisions and set healthy boundaries. Okay, let's start with green flags. Green flags are safe and grounded in connection. You feel emotionally safe around this person. You can express your thoughts, joys, even your pain without fear of being judged or dismissed. They listen, not to fix you, but to understand you. They respect your feelings, even when they don't share them. They make room for your humanity, and that's emotional maturity. And just as important, they have emotional awareness of their own state. They know when they're overwhelmed, and they communicate it instead of projecting it. In any relationship, that kind of honesty builds trust. With green flags, there's consistency and integrity. They do what they say they'll do. Integrity and reliability go hand in hand. Their words align with their actions, even when no one is watching. They respect boundaries, both yours and theirs. Whether it's a co-worker following through on commitments, a friend keeping a confidence, or a partner being consistent in affection, this kind of steadiness is what creates security. It tells you you don't have to guess where you stand. In green flags, there's respect in the presence of tension. Healthy relationships aren't free from conflict, they're just honest in it. A green flag is when someone can stay present during disagreement. They don't attack your character. They focus on the issues. They listen before reacting. They make space for repair after rupture. When conflict becomes a doorway to deeper understanding, not division, that's a sign of relational maturity. In green flags, lifestyles and values have a shared direction. Green flags also show up in alignment. You don't have to agree on everything, but you share core values: honesty, kindness, faith, growth, respect. There's mutual encouragement towards healthy living spiritually, emotionally, and physically. In families and teams, this looks like shared responsibility and respect for balance. In friendship, it shows up as support for your growth, not competition. And in romantic or spiritual partnerships, it's about walking in the same direction, not dragging each other forward. With green flags, there's mutual transformation, growth, and accountability. Relationships don't just feel good, they make you better. You both grow through connection. There's room for feedback without fear. There's humility to admit wrong and a willingness to change. In the workplace, it's a leader who empowers instead of controlling. In friendships, it's someone who celebrates your healing. In faith communities, it's people who call you higher without shaming you. These are green lights, the signals that say you can build here. Now let's look at the yellow flags. Not every warning means stop. Some signs simply mean slow down, pay attention, proceed with wisdom. These are the yellow flags, the moments that call for discernment, communication, and boundaries. In every type of relationship, family, friendship, romance, workplace, or community, yellow flags show us where something might become unhealthy if it isn't addressed. A yellow flag in emotional connection often looks like inconsistency. One day the person is warm and open, the next they're distant or shut down without explanation. They may not be intentionally harmful, they might just lack emotional awareness or skill. You find yourself wondering, did I do something wrong? That's your cue to pause and observe. Can this person recognize their emotional patterns and communicate about them? If not, the connection may require more patience or distance for it to remain healthy. With yellow flags, there's small disrespect or subtle oversteps. Sometimes yellow flags appear as minor boundary crossings. The jokes that go too far, the repeated lateness, the small promises that get unbroken just this once. These moments aren't deal breakers, but they are indicators. They ask, can this person take correction? Can they adjust when the impact of their behavior is shared? If yes, that's growth. If not, that yellow light might soon turn red. With yellow flags, they are sometimes defensive or avoidant patterns. In conflict, a yellow flag often sounds like defensiveness. The person may struggle to hear feedback or may avoid difficult conversations altogether. They may minimize issues rather than resolving them. The danger here is slow erosion, where small unresolved tensions build up into resentment. Healthy communication requires mutual willingness to face discomfort. So when defensiveness or avoidance appears, that's a moment to lean into clarity instead of walking on eggshells. With yellow flags, lifestyles and values have uneven alignment. Sometimes you notice subtle mismatches in priorities, energy, or values. Maybe you value growth, but they prefer comfort. Maybe integrity matters deeply to you, but they tend to cut corners just to get by. These don't always mean you can't stay connected, but they do require honesty about expectations. Without clear alignment, the relationship can drift into frustration or imbalance. A big yellow flag across any relationship is when the giving feels one sided. You're doing all the checking in, all the reaching out, all the listening, and the effort isn't reciprocated. Sometimes people simply don't have the same capacity you do, and that's okay. But discernment asks you to notice if the imbalance is occasional or chronic. Because relationships flourish where both parties value and invest in the connection. Yellow flags don't always mean danger. Sometimes they're divine invitations, opportunities to clarify, to communicate, or to correct before something breaks. They remind us that discernment isn't just about avoiding pain, it's about choosing peace. And now let's talk about red flags. Red flags aren't warnings to pray harder or try longer. They are signals of danger. They tell you it's time to pause, create distance, or even exit the relationship. Discernment at the red light is about courage. Courage to protect your peace, your safety, and your spiritual integrity. Red flags can show up in any type of relationship, at work, in family, in friendships, mentorships, ministry circles, or romantic partnerships. They come in different forms, but they all have the same effect. They drain, they distort, and they destroy healthy connections. Let's look at 5 categories: manipulation and emotional control. Emotional red flags show up when someone consistently plays with your sense of reality or safety. They might shower you with affection one day, then withdraw to make you chase it. Or they choose guilt to control your actions, saying things like, "After all I've done for you?" Gaslighting is another major red flag, making you question your memory, your feelings, or your discernment. In any relationship where emotional control replaces emotional safety, that's not love. That's not mentorship or leadership. That's manipulation. When someone's mood determines your peace, it's time to re-evaluate the connection. Red flags, boundary violation, and dishonesty. Behavioral red flags often look like a pattern of disrespect, ignoring boundaries, breaking promises, or lying about small things just to keep the peace. In the workplace, it might show up as a supervisor who consistently oversteps, guilt trips you into overtime, or punishes you for saying no. In family, it could be a relative who continually disrespects your privacy or choices. Wherever boundaries are not respected, the relationship becomes unsafe. Consistency and integrity are the cornerstones of trust. If those are missing, you're dealing with a red flag, not a misunderstanding. Red flags have aggression or deflection. Healthy relationships face conflict. They handle it with respect. A red flag is when conflict becomes a weapon. This could sound like constant criticism, name calling, shouting, or silent treatment used as punishment. It could also show up as emotional stonewalling when the person refuses to acknowledge your concerns or uses anger to silence you. When conversations turn into power struggles instead of pathways to understanding, you're no longer in safe territory. Conflict should lead to growth, not fear. Red flags, misalignment that breeds chaos. Sometimes the red flag is deeper. It's in the core values that shapes a person's life. They might consistently choose dishonesty, laziness, or compromise over integrity. Or they pull you into cycles of financial recklessness, gossip, addiction, or unethical behavior. These patterns may be subtle at first, but eventually erode your sense of peace and purpose. If a relationship regularly pulls you away from the person you're becoming rather than supporting it, that's a sign to stop and reevaluate. Discernment means asking, is this relationship helping me grow in alignment with truth, wisdom, and love, or pulling me out of it? And number 5, red flags, danger in disguise. Abuse doesn't always look dramatic. Sometimes it starts quietly with control or isolation. Maybe they shame you for spending time with others, monitor your communication, or subtly undermine your confidence. In spiritual or mentoring relationships, it might appear as misuse of authority when someone uses their position to dominate instead of serve. In families, it could be chronic emotional neglect or verbal cruelty that leaves deep, invisible bruises. When there's any form of emotional, verbal, physical, or spiritual harm, it's no longer relationship, it's violation. And you are not obligated to stay where you are consistently diminished or endangered. Red flags aren't invitations to rescue or redeem someone. They are revelations meant to protect you. You can forgive someone and still create distance. You can love people and still leave healthy spaces. Discernment at the red light isn't about fear. It's about freedom. Freedom to choose health, to honor God's peace, and to preserve the wholeness He's restoring in you. Remember, love, real love, never thrives in fear, control, or shame. If the relationship costs your peace, your identity, or your purpose, it's too expensive.
You are listening to Wellbeing with Ceejay Horrell.
Every life tells a story, but too often those stories are lost with time. The laughter, the lessons, the wisdom gone before the next generation can hear them. With Timeless Ties, we help you capture those priceless memories and preserve them forever. Through guided conversations, we turn your loved one's voice, stories, and life journey into a lasting keepsake. Whether it's a beautifully printed photo book, a heartfelt audio recording, or a documentary-styled video. This isn't just about saving stories, it's about preserving love, building connection, and passing down a legacy that time can never erase. Book your free consultation today and begin your family's journey with Timeless Ties, because memories fade, but legacies last. Timeless Ties, a gift of memory, love, and legacy. I created Timeless Ties Legacy Projects with one simple belief. Every life carries wisdom and stories worth remembering, because one day your story will be their strength. Timeless Ties is a gift of memory, love, and legacy. Families can transform scattered memories into shared family treasures. With Timeless Ties, as a couple, you can celebrate the love that brought you together. With Timeless Ties, maybe it's an individual life story. Your life matters. Your journey has meaning. A Timeless Ties legacy could mean a memorial tribute. Loss doesn't have to mean silence. Book your free 15-minute consultation today, because your story is the bridge, your legacy is the gift. The question isn't if your story will live on, it's how. Become one who gives your family connection, healing, and identity for generations. Visit us today at timelessties.ca.
You are listening to Wellbeing with Ceejay Horrell. Straight ahead, final thoughts.
Do you have an opinion, experience, or reflection you'd like to share? Your say is your space to speak your truth. Send us a pre-recorded voice note for a chance to be featured on the podcast. Whether it's a personal story, a lesson you learned, an insight that needs to be heard, or your thoughts on the show itself, this is your opportunity to be part of the conversation. How to participate? Click on the Your Say tab at the top of the website. Record your voice note. Keep it concise and clear. Enter your details to complete your submission and tune in to the podcast. Your voice might be featured on an upcoming episode. Because your voice matters, this is Your Say. Have you ever found yourself in a moment where you want to pull back the emotional curtain to see what's really behind it, but you're afraid of what you might find? I had a few moments like that this week, and as I looked behind some of the memories of my childhood, memories that shaped the insecurities and low self-esteem I wrestled with as an adult, then came Psalm 119, 105. Your word is a lamp to guide my feet and a light for my path. And it hit me. Sometimes God gives me just enough light to walk faithfully. I may not see the whole road or what lies too far ahead, but He gives me clarity for the step I'm on and the courage for the steps I'm willing to take. He wants to be present with me in every moment, cultivating an experiential faith, a faith that's lived one step, one breath, and one act of trust at a time. That was my experience with Psalm 119, 105 this week. His word is a lamp that gives off enough light to illuminate the next steps, not the entire road. I'm learning that God's word doesn't reveal everything at once, but provides sufficient light for each step of obedience. His word is a light. It's bright, illuminating, enlightening, giving revelation, wisdom, and divine guidance. Just like He did at creation when He said, "Let there be light," Genesis 1:3. His presence and truth brought clarity and order out of chaos, confusion, and darkness. His word is a message, command, and promise. It's instructive, it gives wisdom, and is filled with promises that actively guides and sustains our lives. And then our path. A path is a well-worn trail or direction of life. His word illuminates each step, guiding us moment by moment towards wisdom, discernment, and faithful living. So, I learned this week that God's word guides, not controls. It reveals truth, not the entire future. It sustains faith. It does not remove the need for trust. As I close this edition of Well-Being, every relationship we step into, whether friendship, family, ministry, or romance, becomes part of the path we walk. And on that path, we often face intersections marked by green, yellow, and red lights, moments that invite us to move forward, to slow down, or stop altogether. Psalm 119, 105 reminds us that we're not walking those paths in the dark. God's word, His presence, and His wisdom are a lamp to our feet, enough light for the next step, not necessarily the whole road. In the same way, discernment doesn't always show us the full picture at once. Sometimes God illuminates one conversation, one boundary, one subtle shift in tone or behavior that helps us see the truth. His word shapes our perception so we can recognize the difference between what draws us closer to life and what leads us away from peace. The Spirit within us whispers when to pause and pray, the yellow lights, when to move forward with trust, the green lights, and when to lovingly step back or set boundaries, the red lights. The comfort of this verse is that we're never alone on this journey. God walks with us, shining light where confusion might otherwise rule. The same word that guided the psalmist's steps still steadies ours, reminding us that discernment isn't about suspicion or fear, but about walking wisely, guided by divine truth and love. When we trust God's light at every intersection, we discover that even the darkest lessons in relationship can become the classrooms for growth, healing, and peace. As you think about your own circle, family, friends, co-workers, even the people you serve or lead, take a moment to ask yourself, what color is showing up most often? Every relationship teaches us something. Green flags encourage us to lean in and grow. Yellow flags challenge us to communicate and discern. And red flags remind us that love doesn't require self-sacrifice at the expense of peace. Learning to read the signs isn't about control, it's about stewardship, protecting your heart, your energy, and your purpose. Take a deep breath. Think about the key relationships in your life right now, the ones that fill you, stretch you, and maybe the ones that quietly drain you. Ask yourself, what color light best represents each connection? Green, yellow, or red? Where am I being invited to move forward? Where do I need to slow down and pay attention? And where might God be asking me to stop, to set a boundary, or release something that's no longer healthy? Discernment isn't about fear or finding fault. It's about alignment, choosing peace, wisdom, and wholeness in every space you show up in. Let that awareness rest in your spirit. As you continue to journey this week, remember discernment is one of the most loving things you can practice, both for yourself and for others. Green lights remind us to grow in peace, yellow lights teach us patience and perspective, and red lights protect us from cycles that rob our peace. Every relationship reflects something, and learning to read those reflections with wisdom helps us to love better, live lighter, and walk in purpose. Remember, today is your moment to align with who God created you to be. You're not alone. As your spiritual guide and wholeness coach, I help you step into clarity, purpose, and peace, especially after life has unraveled. If you're navigating loss, recovering from burnout, or longing for a deeper connection, let's talk. You weren't made for autopilot living. You were formed for intention, for wholeness, for meaning, for kingdom purpose. I walk alongside men and women ready to break free from emotional clutter and reconnect with the life God meant for them, one step at a time. Start your journey today at ceejayhorrell.com. That's CeejayHorrell.com. Links are in the podcast description as well. Thanks for spending this time with me on Wellbeing with Ceejay Horrell. If this episode helped you see something more clearly, share it with someone else who might need that same clarity today. I want to leave you with something special. This October 2025 marked the 20th anniversary of my mom's passing, and my musical twin, my sister Lucky, commemorated this moment with a song she wrote titled When It Rains. I want to leave you with the song, and please visit her at luckyhorrell.com. That's LuckyHorrell.com, and click on the store page. When you get there, you'll find more of her musical offerings, including this one. Remember, some journeys are quiet, some are messy, but all healing is holy. So wherever you are, take one honest step today. Grow with me, heal with me. You're not alone, and there's space for you here. Until next time, stay discerning, stay grounded, and keep walking in wholeness.
Silence fills the room. I could feel my heart beating. Never thought that I could ever live to lose a love like you. Lost, gone away. My pearl of price, only for a time. How do I make it through the pain, the sting of death when it rains? Heaven cries. You see it now, the picture of my life. Darkness fills this broken life. I try to see past where I am. I know I ought to trust you, but it's hard when it rains. Sometimes I see you in the beautiful night sky, or in my dreams, but then I open my eyes and you're not there. heal. But years gone by, I still feel the pain. I'm longing for the day when I would hold you in my arms. When it rains, heaven cries. You see and know the picture of my life. Darkness fills this broken life. I try to see past where I am. I know I ought to trust you, but it's hard when it rains. I have hope of knowing in your love that everything is working for me. No matter what life's journey brings me, I'll trust in you. When it rains, heaven cries. You see and know the picture.
Thank you for listening to this edition of Wellbeing with Ceejay Horrell. If you enjoyed the show, remember to like, comment, share, and subscribe. And visit us at ceejayhorrell.com. We're better with you.